Deep within a remote cave, a team of scientists stumbled upon a strange phenomenon, unlike anything they had ever encountered. It left them bewildered and eager to unravel the mystery surrounding it. But as they delved deeper into their discovery, the startling truth began to emerge, leaving the scientists utterly stunned. Victor, the lead scientist of the group, stood at the entrance of the cave, his team behind him. They were about to venture into one of the most difficult mysteries of their careers. All they had was a map and their gear, which should be enough. But Victor knew this mission could turn out to be harder than it seemed. That was why he hesitated. A moment of doubt flashed before his eyes. Was he leading his team toward failure? What if they got lost inside the cave? But before we start, smash the like button and make sure to subscribe if you haven't, and hit that notification bell so that you won't miss any new stories. One of his colleagues, Josephine, noticed his doubt and placed a hand on his shoulder. "Let's do this," she said with a confident voice. Victor turned to her and nodded. "Let's do this." The first part of the cave was easy. They walked through the cave's entrance tunnel for about 30 minutes until they arrived at a crossing. Victor looked at the map in his hands and at the crossing. Right or left, he mumbled to himself. He looked into each tunnel, and for a moment, he thought he saw a very faint light coming from the right one. Because of that, he chose to move further into the right one, only hoping for the light to be real and not just a shimmer of wet stone. He decided not to tell his colleagues about the light he had seen. It wasn't even written on the map, but then, the crossing wasn't exactly written on it either. Suddenly, it dawned on him that the map wasn't as useful as he had thought it would be, and they were only 30 minutes in. After walking for another 30 minutes, Josephine requested a little break. Victor agreed, and they sat down to eat an energy bar for a little bit. Trevor, one of the scientists who logged their route, came over to Victor and asked to speak to him in private. They walked a few steps away from the group, and Trevor began to speak in a hushed tone. "I don't want to start a panic, but it seems like we're walking in circles," he quietly said as he showed Victor the route he had logged. Victor frowned and took his notes from him. "This can't be possible," he said, bewildered. "Are you sure you logged everything correctly?" Trevor nodded his head, his eyes standing wide with panic and worry. Victor grabbed his own map and placed it next to Trevor's. Strange," he mumbled. "Akiri, according to my map, there are no tunnels on the route you have logged. He stood up and looked around. "What do you mean?" Trevor asked confusedly. "I'm 100% sure I logged everything correctly. The map is wrong." Victor looked at Trevor with defeated eyes. He watched as the color of his face slowly turned pale. "You mean we? Can we? How will we?" Trevor began to stutter, realizing there was a big chance they were lost. Suddenly, they heard Josephine yelling at them. "Guys, you have to see this," her voice sounding excited. As he looked at Josephine, he saw a shimmer in her eyes. "What's the matter with you?" he playfully asked her. They were standing in some kind of chamber, filled with strange white circular objects. "They look like giant eggs," Trevor said. But as he stepped closer, he realized no animal known to mankind lay such eggs. "Wait, what's that?" Trevor pointed at some strange substance dripping from one of the objects. Victor quickly took out a petri dish and collected the strange substance. The team began the meticulous process of packaging the mysterious objects, ensuring they were safely stored. The air was thick with anticipation. "All right, team, let's move," Victor commanded, taking one last glance at the strange chamber. The initial journey back was filled with excitement. The dimly lit tunnels echoed with the team's laughter and chatter. As they continued their trek, the paths grew increasingly unfamiliar. Victor paused more than once to scrutinize the map he held, his brow furrowing deeper each time. "This doesn't seem right," he muttered, tracing his finger along the aged paper. The tunnels seemed to twist and turn in ways that weren't depicted. Doubt began to shadow his earlier confidence, but he kept his concerns silent, not wanting to worry the team prematurely. Recognizing the need for leadership, Victor took a deep breath. "Enough," he shouted, silencing the bickering. "Arguing won't get us out. We need to stick together." He locked eyes with each team member, his voice unwavering. "We faced challenges before." While the team struggled inside, word reached the outside world. A local who had seen the team enter the cave recounted their expedition to a journalist passing through the area. Intrigued by the mysterious circumstances, the journalist wasted no time. Television screens nationwide showcased the cave's entrance, along with a captivating headline, "Prominent research team missing in mysterious cave exploration." A news set off a flurry of activity. News set off a flurry of activity. The helicopters began to hover above the cave's vicinity, their rotors slicing through the air. Ground crews assembled quickly, with specialized cave rescue teams suiting up, became the center of national attention. Lack of light, decreasing oxygen levels, cold temperatures. Time isn't on their side, one expert remarked gravely. In the heart of the cavernous maze, Victor's torch caught the outline of an old campsite. It lay shrouded in shadows, forgotten and untouched by time. The sight both startled and intrigued the team. Could someone else have been trapped here before? And more importantly, could their presence offer them a way out? As they scoured the camp, Josephine's keen eyes spotted something of potential value. Tucked inside an old leather pouch, a faded map emerged. Even though wear and tear had claimed parts of it, significant portions remained legible. It outlined several chambers and paths, some they recognized and some they didn't. A deeper look revealed personal effects, a cracked photograph of a young couple, a weathered journal, a broken compass. It became evident that the previous group had not merely been passing through, but had taken residence in the cave for an extended period. Wondering about their fate sent shivers down the spine. Did they find a way out, or were they still somewhere in the depths? If the previous campers had plotted a route out, then perhaps it still existed. Fueled by renewed hope and the realization that they weren't the first to face this labyrinth, they readied themselves to decipher the map's secrets and forge a path home. Victor, amidst the relics of the past, sat down, absorbing the gravity of their discovery. The weight of the countless stories, the laughter, tears, fears, and hopes of the previous campers pressed upon him. But a collection of yellowed newspapers and brittle magazines caught Josephine's eye. She started to read the headlines, some of which spoke of world events they knew from history books. Yet, as the day wore on and their pile of artifacts grew, a sinking realization set in. They had a treasure trove of stories, of memories, of moments frozen in time, but none of the findings pointed them closer to an exit. The shadows deepened, mirroring the team's growing despair. The weight of history became a reminder of their own precarious situation. As Josephine moved further into the campsite, she noticed a cloth hanging inconspicuously from the roof of the cave. Drawing it aside, she revealed a chamber that appeared almost magical, untouched by the decay and ravages of time. The air was thick with mystery, and every item inside seemed to gleam with the promise of stories untold. Stepping inside was like being transported decades back. Brightly colored fabrics draped the walls, psychedelic patterns swirling in vibrant hues. The room was clearly an artist's retreat. Cut a corner filled with paints of all colors, brushes of every size, and canvases, some completed, some half-finished, some blank. Tucked beside a pile of cushions was an old leather-bound diary. Josephine carefully picked it up, feeling its weight. The writings revealed the musings and adventures of someone deeply immersed in the hippie culture of their time. With the whole team huddled all around, Josephine began to read. Each entry was a window into the world of a free spirit, chronicling their journey, their hopes, and their dreams. The voice of the diary's author seemed to echo in the cave, painting vivid images of a time when love and peace were the anthems of a generation. The artist spoke passionately about creating a monumental installation that would defy conventions, challenging the perceptions of all who ventured into the cave. By blending nature's splendors with human touch, the diary read, "We can craft an immersive experience, one where the line between Earth's creations and man's interpretations blurs, celebrating the dance between the tangible and the imagined with each word." The mysteries began to unravel. The eggs, the diary elucidated, were not mere objects but profound symbols, crafted with care. They represented love in its purest form, peace that transcended boundaries, and harmony that resonated with the cave's ambience. And each egg was an ode to the ideals the hippie community cherished, a testament to their hopes for the world outside. The peculiar dripping substance that had puzzled the team now had an explanation. It was not any mysterious or otherworldly entity, but an art material, perhaps a resin or adhesive that had aged, morphed, and interacted with the cave's environment over decades. It's not just a cave. It's a testament to the spirit of art, history, and discovery. What if we preserved it? Turned it into a living museum gathered around the campfire? The team contemplated the profound confluence they had stumbled upon. Josephine remarked, "It's incredible how art and nature can coexist so harmoniously." Trevor added, "It's not just about the art, it's about the story behind it. The intentions, the passions, the timelessness their find had, indeed, bridged worlds, drawing lines between aesthetics, history, and the very fabric of nature." The whispers of the cave's allure didn't remain confined for long. Soon, the story of the underground art installation, intertwined with historical revelations, caught the world's imagination. Journalists, photographers, and storytellers flocked to witness and document the harmonious coexistence of art and nature. The cave, once a labyrinth of mysteries, now emerged as a beacon of discovery. Scholars from diverse fields became engrossed in discussions about the cave. Philosophers pondered over the essence of art, its place in nature, and the intentions behind it. So the cave, once a symbol of enigma, became a destination for those keen on exploring the convergence of art, nature, and history. Daylight pierced the cave's mouth as the team, weary yet elated, stepped into the outside world. To their astonishment, a vast crowd had gathered, their applause resonating like a chorus of joy. Camera flashes lit up the scene, and the air was thick with anticipation and relief, echoing the monumental significance of their emergence. As the crowd recognized familiar faces, the ambiance turned electric. Parents, spouses, and children broke through barriers, their tears mixing with laughter as they held their long-missed loved ones. Everywhere, sounds of joyful reunions filled the air. Overwhelmed, team members basked in the heartfelt warmth and love, realizing the extent of concern and hope that had awaited them. Amid the crowd, a group approached with visible emotion, introducing themselves as the descendants of the original artists. They spoke of tales passed down through generations, detailing the dreams and ambitions of those who created the art. Their stories painted vivid pictures, bridging time and giving context to the cave's treasures. With the backdrop of a setting sun, the scene outside the cave transformed. Victor and Josephine sat on a nearby hill, the cave entrance visible in the distance. The weight of their ordeal and discovery hung in the air. "It's incredible," Josephine whispered. "How one journey can change everything." Victor nodded, adding, "And how art, in all its forms, tells stories that echo through time." They gazed at the horizon, their adventure forever etched in memory.